Our next reader is Nick Carbo. Nick is the author of El Grupo McDonald's, 1995, Secret Asian Man, 2000, which won the Asian American Literary Award, and Andalusian Dawn, which came out in 2004. He is the editor of 3 anthologies of Filipino literature, Pinoy Poetics, 2004, Babylon, 2000, and Returning a Borrowed Tongue, 1995. With poet Denise DeHammel, he co-edited the anthology Sweet Jesus in 2002. He was visiting poet in the MFA program in poetry at Columbia College, Chicago, and he keeps a famous blog called The Carbonator. Nick?
Thanks. I'll read 2 short poems. The first one is a poem not by me, but by my wife, who is also a poet. and a poet published in MIPO all the time. And this one is entitled Thanksgiving because it talks about the importance of tradition. Okay, so Thanksgiving. The first Thanksgiving after their marriage, she found her husband in the backyard fumbling with cardboard, mailing tape, and an X-Acto knife. "What are you doing, honey?" she asked. "Making an oven." "Huh? You go on to the game without me," he said. Her husband's brothers were at the front door. She told them her husband wasn't feeling well. They piled into a car. The locals won. When she returned, she found her husband curled up in the cardboard structure he'd made. He was on his back with legs bent on top of his stomach, his hands tucked under his neck as though he was about to perform a sit-up. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Leave me alone. I'm a turkey cooking." The cardboard box did indeed look vaguely like an oven. Her husband had drawn some knobs with a Sharpie pen on the side. "You look so uncomfortable. Please come in the house." Her husband closed his eyes. "Our team won," she said. Nothing. "What about a piece of pumpkin pie?" Still no response. She ran inside to call her new mother-in-law. "Don't forget to baste him, or else he'll be dry. No one likes a dry turkey," the mother-in-law said. The wife started to cry, at which point the mother-in-law put one of her sons on the phone. "Make sure to switch the oven from preheat to bake. Otherwise, you'll never eat." She slammed down the receiver and called her own mother, long distance. "You told me you didn't need any pre-wedding advice," her mother said coldly. "You've always thought you knew it all. I tried to tell you marriage was going to be different than what you expected." "But please, Mom," the new wife sniffled. "You never did understand the importance of tradition." The new wife went to the backyard with a baster and poked under her husband's thighs, squeezing the yellow rubber ball, and pretended to squirt liquid onto his stomach and thighs. She turned the Sharpie dial to bake. Smells delicious," she said to the trees and the old shed. Her husband grinned a tiny turkey grin. Okay. The second poem is about a young poetry couple that did a reading in a college, and I saw them, and they were making googly eyes at each other, and I was getting annoyed. And then they don't know how to be a poetry couple, so what it really takes. So okay, so this is about the young. Oh, and only one person in this room knows who that poetry couple is. Okay. Okay, the young poetry couple come to the college, do the obligatory class visit to the poetry workshop. "Are you guys married?" asked the poetry major. The visiting male poet turns to the visiting female poet, as if she were the one who had his balls in a velvet vise and could put the right check mark in that stupid little box. "No," she says, "we're living in sin." The male visiting poet slides his hands over his tawny corduroy pants. Thinks, I could let a line break escape from my ass right now. But she's gonna nag me about that later on. They get through the class visit without incidents. Only a slight foreshadowing of what's to come during their featured poetry reading. The female visiting poet reads first and reads for 40 long minutes. And her boyfriend, lover, sinner man, looks lovingly back at her as if his life depended upon her every word. What he's really thinking is if she let him take her doggy style later tonight in the hotel room. Let him spank the like and ass of each cheek as he approaches his well-deserved epiphany, his red caesura. Thank you.